We are three friends exploring connection, from the coffee shop to the podcast studio. I'm Amy.
I'm Anna.
I'm Aaron.
Hey, we are recording.
Heyo!
Hey!
Hi. I miss you guys.
I miss you too.
Miss you too. Gotta
But
get all situated here.
I do have to say, I feel really glad that you rode your bike over Aaron the other day and you waved at me when we were on our patio. That was so nice.
Real good. That was it was great to ride through Denver, stop and you see social distance, you and Amy and my friend Sharon, and then Chris's friend Dan. We took a little bike ride around the city, and it's nice because there's not as many cars out, so it was just good to ride around. And Chris fixed my bike, so now I have different handlebars and easier brakes. So it was a beautiful day. Beautiful face I see along the way.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
It's so nice to see you in person. And then I got to see Amy today to give you your headphones. We're looking like gamers today.
I know. We're like serious today. Got a little equipment upgrade.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And then everybody's like wearing hoodies today.
That's right.
Y'all are representing.
Represent.
I need to get mine.
You do.
Get yours.
You do.
I have a zip up one. Oh my gosh. I totally should have put it on. But it's
instead you have your sloth hiking club. So
That's
pretty great too.
But it's like
hiking team.
Hiking team.
Yeah. There you go.
I have this.
Yeah,
there
you are. Yeah, you are.
Mhm.
Yeah. So there's that.
So how's the week, people?
This one was a little rougher for me, I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I don't know if it's like the monotony of the days or, just life. Just like life being life for what it is, and then feeling this like stuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just felt more, just wasn't as like positive or whatever for me this week.
Right.
What about for you guys?
Anna, how about you?
I feel like take a screenshot really quick so I can share that on our social. I feel like this week was different too, but it almost felt easier for me because I feel like I have a new level of acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, mindset is everything, right? And I also feel like I'm kind of just getting into like a groove with this whole situation, and it's like the adrenaline or something that came with it initially, or just like the shock is wearing off, and it's just kind of like literally feels like, oh, this is a new normal, and oh, if I can work or get out solo and do a walk and have some alone time, that just helps so much. And honestly, I'm kind of sick of talking about the coronavirus. I'm and it could be because I completely overdid it with all of the articles. And
it was intense article.
No.
It was intense article.
It really was.
I could be totally just maxed out. All right, I've done enough what I can, researched as much as I can. It is what it is at this point. And, I'm So let's talk about the coronavirus.
That's right.
Just kidding.
What about you, Aaron? How was the week?
Well, so on Sunday I did, I am trained in healing touch. And so I normally go to get regular healing touch treatments. And so on Sunday I went to, I didn't go anywhere. I had Cynthia, who is my healing touch practitioner and my teacher. I was like, okay, so if I'm going to be a healing touch practitioner and this distance healing thing, quantum physicsy type of thing is, it can happen, then I'm going to give it a try, but I am kind of skeptical, right? Because I'm always skeptical about it.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like, okay, well, if I am promoting this thing, I need to see if it actually works. So I did the session and I laid down on the table. I talked to her, then I put on my music, set an alarm, and then I woke up, and I'm not kidding. I thought I was full of shit, but it was a game changer for me. So I think I was like,
whoa.
Yeah, it was incredible. And then I felt finally like, oh, okay, like I feel back into myself. I felt like good, like right as same as I do after regular healing touch sessions. So my energy was all in line, which was awesome. So that was on Sunday.
Wait, so I have a question about that.
Yes.
Like, does the practitioner just...
So they're pretending like she's got her table out and they're pretending. I did this in my apprenticeship, like as a practitioner, and I was surprised at like the intuitive stuff that came up about the person, even though they weren't there. Because energy, you don't need to be in the same space. So I've been to her space space all the time, like probably at least once a month or every other week for like a long time now. And so so she did this, and so we talked about it. She laid the table out. So she works on me as if I'm there. And so this is what she says to me, and I was like, okay, whatever. I roll my eyes. So she was like, okay, well, I'll ground you at about 40 minutes, and so you'll probably be able to feel that. And so I was like, okay, whatever. And so literally I felt like a dunk in the middle of my body. And then like a couple minutes later, my alarm went off. It was awesome. And so so could totally feel what she was talking about, which is, and I'm sensitive to energy, but I think it's the same thing. So that was awesome. So it got me back in my window of tolerance, because I was pretty like, my nervous system was pretty overactivated. In like go mode to figure out how to do all this. So I feel like I have come to a place of acceptance with this, but I'm also able to feel, because I'm in my window of tolerance, I can feel all of my feels. I've been way more teary just because I'm feeling everything. But also like a better range of acceptance, especially with the business, about just this is where it is and this is what we have to do. But I'm definitely feeling a lot more than I have this entire time. So that's where I am. Yeah.
That's amazing that the healing touch was able to work.
I know. It's so hard to understand. It's so crazy. But I mean, I totally believe it.
Yeah. And I'm skeptical, even though that I do that, I am skeptical of all of that before. And it was super cool. So
wow.
There's that. Yeah.
So there you go. You can do it virtual healing touch. Even though that seems like an oxymoron. Healing
it
touch.
Totally does.
Yeah.
Virtual
well, you don't
touch.
actually have to, when you're doing, you can do like light hand placements, or you don't even have to be touching the person. Because in like other forms of energy healing, like people don't touch you a lot of the times. So yeah.
So cool.
Fascinating.
That could be really good for coronavirus.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
I can heal you. I'm not really going to touch you.
I'm not even going to be in the same room.
I'm not even going to be in the same room.
Yeah. Because she's in Boulder, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
there's
cool.
that.
Wow. Well, sounds like we've got some questions from some listeners.
Yep. So
you want to kick that off, Erin?
I set up some text messages to see what people wanted us to talk about, because I feel like we needed some direction, right? So a couple of questions. So one of my friends asked, could you ask Anna to share some of her savings tips for people who may be struggling financially at the moment, what she did and how she recommends saving during this time? There you go, Anna.
Yeah, totally. So the very first thing you should do,
read your book. Just kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah. I have mine here too.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So totally get the book. If you don't have it, you can get it at spendersguidebook.com.
For everyone that's listening, Anna's holding it up on the camera. So there we go.
Yeah.
That
she authored.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wrote a book about how to get out of debt super fast. So I know what I'm talking about. So the main thing that I would recommend doing is to not, if you're worried about money right now, which so many of us are, do not try to get out of debt right now. It is totally okay. Like, I think a lot of people feel this pressure to like, oh my gosh, I have to like save money and still get out of debt. And it's like, the reality is things are so uncertain that a lot of people are just in survival mode. So like, don't put the pressure on yourself to try to survive and get out of debt. The spending fast can be used as a way to gain more secure financial footing, no matter where you're at in your life, and if we're going through a global pandemic or not. So right now, don't try to pay off debt. Just simply survive. Another thing to do is to create a wants and needs list, and that will help you get really, really clear about things that you can cut out, things that, you know, kind of discretionary spending.
What differentiates a want from a need? Because I think sometimes people would think like things are a need when actually they're a want.
Yeah, so I mean, I think one of the reasons the Spending Fast has been so effective and our community has been able to pay off over 8 million in debt is
oh my gosh.
Is because it is so customizable. Like, you get to decide what is a priority to you in your life. So when I created my wants and needs list initially, I said, you know what, these are needed to survive, and these are things that are needed for my emotional well-being, like or like I was working at the courthouse at the time, and so I decided I needed to be able to dye my hair still, so I added that to like my needs list. And like a lot of people add like doggy daycare or like pedicures, you know, when we're not like, you know, when
in the lockdown,
when we're not in a global pandemic, you know. So it's just kind of like what you need to like survive and what you need to have your mental health and emotional well-being taken care of, and that's something that you get to decide. So like something you might put on your wants and needs list might not be something I put on. Like in my book I talk about you know, I give an example of my wants and needs list, and it's just to be used as a guide, but it really should be totally customized to your own priorities.
Mm-hmm.
And then that'll help you get like a really good idea about where you should be spending. And then I always recommend, like, after you get going in it for a while, like if you start and you're like, oh my gosh, I have these items that are kind of in a gray, like I don't know what I should do with these, then put them as a need, and then as you get going and kind of get in the groove with it, just scoot those over to the want side and don't spend on the wants, and just kind of get more competitive with yourself. But I mean, really anything you can do, like, and this is if money is, if we're not in a global pandemic, you know, like you have to use all of this idea with like a grain of salt right now. You know, it's like, just survive right now. Don't try to pay off your debt, pay the minimums. Also, some other tips I wrote down is to be sure, I feel like this might be a no-brainer, but I'm going to say it anyway. Take advantage of government programs, and talk to your employer. Call your mortgage company or your landlord, see if there's any deferments if you need that. And you can do this, even you can do this and just kind of find out what your options are, and then weigh it all and find out if it would help you to take advantage of any of these things that are being offered. Obviously, unemployment, if you have been laid off, and call your creditors because they're also doing different things to help people out during this time. So just kind of knowing where you stand with things and what your options are, I think that's pretty empowering. So yeah, those are the tips that I have for that.
Okay, so what about, so the other parts of that question was maybe also what do you do if you're now down to one income, etc.?
Yeah,
so additional things.
Yeah, so if you are down to one income, I do have a side gig master list. If you go to andthenwesave.com, you can get that. There's like 195 side gig ideas. Actually, I think I gave it to you at one point, Amy.
It's awesome. I highly endorse it. Yeah.
Yeah, so many ideas, whether we're in a global pandemic or not. Obviously, some of them you won't be able to do right now with shutdowns, but it's like so good to just get your mind going about like, oh my gosh, like I could totally make money doing this or that. And I think the main thing is to, like, if you are down to one income, you know, like just get really creative with how you can cut back, and then other ideas about where people are needing help and how you might be able to fill a need that people have. So I feel like I just did an infomercial.
You did a great job. I was just listening. Do you have any examples that you could tell people, like stories or real life examples, so that people? About anything that you just said?
Like the side gigs, maybe?
The side gigs?
Side gigs. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Oh, another thing. This isn't about your question, Aaron, but another tip. Because of where we're at right now with the social distancing and so many cities and states being shut down, there is a community of people that are also trying to get out of debt or struggling with money stuff. And that's on Facebook. It's a free group that I have, and it's spendingfastersgroup.com. And that's a group to where you can just kind of talk about what you're going through so that you know you're not alone in this. And I feel like there's a lot of power in just saying and knowing like you're not the only one in that situation.
And I bet they have some great ideas for side gigs.
Oh yeah,
too,
totally.
Right?
Totally. Yeah. And if you search in that group, it's just like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Or here's what's happening in my state, and then maybe you can look into that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, Aaron. I don't really have an example.
I don't think it was a very good question.
Anecdote right now, but if I think of one,
I have an example you gave me once.
What?
Great.
So I'm drawing a blank.
You what?
I'm drawing a blank. So
yeah. No, so I have two comments to make. First, you got yourself out of a tremendous amount of debt doing this.
Yeah.
And so it's not only that you're an author, but like your own experience doing this. But then the second thing I would say is you told me like I could get really creative with, even like renting my garage, for example, or renting a space in my garage, or I have a backyard. And so like, I could think about like having puppy play dates or, kind of like a puppy happy hour or something so that dogs could just come and run around. Like I really appreciated your perspective and really like that, that guide, the side gigs guide that you have, because if you get it, then you can just link right to all these different ideas. And there's so much in there that I just wouldn't have even thought about, but it's great resource.
I'm glad that you found that helpful. And I mean, I think that's what's so cool about like all those side gigs is it's like, and if you're struggling with money right now, it's like just to get your mind thinking about like, oh yeah, I didn't even think that like people need somewhere to take their dogs, even if the dog could just be outside.
Yes.
And run around. Like that's a benefit to someone. And like, it's very low impact on like your daily life.
Right.
It's like, drop the dog, then Venmo me $20 or $30 for the day or whatever it is,
Yeah.
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 So.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good question.
Yeah, good question, listener.
Okay, so then all these questions I kind of group them into. So that was finances, and then the next is coping skills, habits, mental and emotional health. Amy, you want to read those thoughts? There's 3 of them, and then we'll give the tips, or you want to do the tips and I'll read them.
Let's see here. Just point me to where I am looking at the rain. You mean?
Above the rain.
Above the rain.
All those questions. This is where
I see what you're saying. Yep. Yes, I see. Okay, so question number 1. What do you do if you are comfort eating up a storm or drinking, etc., due to stress? What do you do when you find yourself falling back on harmful coping strategies that make you jeopardize your health, or if you stop exercising and just want to sleep, etc.?
Great. Yep.
Should I keep going? The next one?
We'll just
okay.
To give idea about what people are thinking about.
Got it. Okay. Another question was underlying anxiety. Even when you feel good, there is still something there right now.
Like I think this person is asking like the underlying anxiety, even when like things are good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think just another one here is anxiety. We can protect ourselves, but we can't control others.
Right.
So I think that brings up a really good point of just we are living with so much anxiety produced probably by uncertainty in the future and or what the future is going to look like. And then, I mean, I can totally relate to that. This question, what that person said about like, we can't control others, and just the anxiety producing or just the anxiety that produces.
Right.
So definitely some great tips,
right,
for what to do.
Yeah. So for his helpful things. So one thing that I think is awesome is, so Tara Brock, she's a meditation teacher. She's a therapist. I think she's a speaker. She does all sorts of things. She's pretty funny when she does her presentations, and she also has a podcast where it has free meditations, and then she talks about some sort of like applicable talk. And so the thing she talks about often is the practice of rain. And so rain is when something happens, right? So we're recognizing, so the R is that we're recognizing what is happening. So let's take one of those so comfort eating up a storm. So I've been eating sugar like a champion. And I went on a run yesterday, and I was like, maybe my practice of 2 desserts during quarantine, I'll say to Chris, like, we already had 2 desserts. We can't have any other things. And those freaking, we went to Target, and he got those freaking Cadbury eggs.
Oh,
oh my God.
I love those. I love it, like treat. Eating the shell around it, and then I let the ooze just come out.
They're so good.
So we're going to recognize what's happening. I'm hog jazzing the shit out of Cadbury eggs. So that's the issue with that. So I'm recognizing what happened. I'm allowing the experience of the eggs. I'm allowing the experience to be there just as it is. So like, okay. So I feel like I need to, every time I go to the kitchen, to grab a few eggs. It's not really my...
Wait, are they the big eggs? Or...
No. They're like the little nuggets. It's not like the crap.
There's a whole bunch of new kinds, I feel like, this year.
They're the minis.
Yes.
It's just this like solid little eggshell.
Oh, I know. You're talking about purple bag.
Oh, yes.
Do they have like a malt? Is it malty?
Nope.
No, it's like it's just
solid.
Like candy covered pastel covering on that.
And I need to get some of those.
Oh, they're so good.
Addictive chocolate on the inside.
Okay, wait, side story. Okay. I got it just quick.
Okay.
So about that package of chocolate eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I was a teacher, there were a couple kindergarten teachers who loved those eggs so much that when it was Cadbury egg season, they would go and like we would literally take breaks. We would walk our classrooms by that classroom because they had the stash of the purple Cadbury eggs.
Oh yeah.
And we got to go this way.
Oh yeah. So good.
Give you the handoff and you keep on walking.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Through the day.
Yeah.
Good. That's what I kind of feel like's happening.
Just like
get
this
the
slide.
In the kitchen.
Yes.
Yep. And you have a little coffee. I'm having a little coffee treat in the afternoon, and I'm eating these I'm eating these espresso and Cadbury eggs.
Yum.
Woo!
I can't tell if like the coronavirus is going to get everybody in amazing shape because there's so much like online video exercising happening, or if it's going to be like we're all going to be 20 pounds heavier.
Well,
have you heard of the COVID-19?
Yeah.
Like
pounds.
15. The COVID-19.
Yeah. Watch out for that. I wore my t-shirt that says "Get your fat pants on." That's what my sister Colleen bought me for Thanksgiving.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I think people are. We're gonna get back to I and N, but I think people are gonna have a really hard time going back to pants that have like buttons.
Yeah.
And a zipper. And jeans.
I think we're going to have a new level of like wearing pajamas outside.
I did.
Oh, I did too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody outside on walks is in loungewear. Like it's literally like nobody's getting dressed. I mean, I do have to say, like putting on makeup today and then the other day, I have started to realize like the things that make me feel good for me personally rather than for external things. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel significantly better when I do these certain things rather than when I do them because I think I'm going to run into somebody in particular or like be in this certain situation, you know? And it's like, oh, I am feeling good from the outside in this situation.
Yeah.
So
I'm with you, but I have to put on regular pants. And I've been wearing jeans every day because I have to feel, that makes me feel normal. So that we got makeup, I got jeans. There we go.
Yeah. And another thing that makes me feel like regular and normal that I noticed, and this was pre-pandemic time, whenever I would go on a trip and I would not shave my legs. And something about that just made me feel like not normalized. And so like it sounds so weird, but like I have to make sure to like still shave my legs when I go on vacation because it's like a normalizing thing.
Yeah.
Even though
good. It's good to know whatever those things are.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whatever those things are that make you feel okay.
Do you have anything, Amy, that you do?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Not really. I mean, I probably should, but no.
There ain't no shoulds around here.
Yeah.
There ain't no shoulds in these pods. We don't do shoulds.
That's right.
All right, so rain.
Okay, so then I is investigate with interest and care, right? And so why am I eating all of these Cadbury eggs? Like, what is happening with me? Because I was real emotional this week. And so I'm trying to soothe with that chocolate. Not the best plan. We're in a social isolation or distancing, whatever. And so that's what I got. And then I went on a run last night and I felt like total crap because I'm like, oh, I can feel the sugar. My joints hurt. Like I just felt gross. And no, the Rona is not in me right now.
Rona?
No, Rona.
Is that you?
That you,
Is that you, Rona? Rona.
Rona,
No.
you so crazy.
You're crazy, Rona.
You're Rona.
So investigate with care rather than like beat myself up, which is never helpful about like why I'm eating this. I need to stop, blah, 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 all that stuff. Not helpful. So I'm interested in care. This is what. And then N is nurture with self-compassion. So like, it doesn't make me feel good. Instead of like, no, you can't eat them. It's like, no, this does not make me feel good. And ultimately like my energy spikes and then crashes. I can have a few a day and that's okay. And so I can parent myself, like nurture with self-compassion. And so that's how I deal with that. So the R is recognize what's happening. A is allow the experience to be there just as it is. I is investigate with interest and care. And then N is to nurture with self-compassion. That's
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah, so good. It's like so non-judgmental of yourself.
Yes.
Have
you guys ever seen this?
The Calm app?
Nope.
Bootify.
This is Bootify.
Bootify.
Yeah, Bootify has a wheel, and if you go to stress and difficult emotions, and then look at that one down there, rain.
Oh,
it's raining, man. Hallelujah.
So,
it's raining, man.
you can be guided through the meditation that Erin, you just walked us through.
Wow, love that.
Cool.
Yeah, for free.
Look at that resource. Say it again.
Damn.
Bootify.
Damn, you're good.
That's good.
You know what I've been noticing when I have anxiety?
Yep.
The number one thing that I do to get my anxiety under control is to think about someone else or like try to get out of my head. Like try to do something for someone else. And usually it just is like calling someone or being like, hey, what's up with you? You know, like especially now when it's like limited. And even if they don't ever call me back, it's just like, okay, you know, looking through my phone, like, oh, you know, what's going on with this person? How are they doing? It's just, you know, getting out of myself. And because it's like so much of my anxiety is like, just like the swirling.
Yes.
You know, like that, like they say in yoga, the hamster wheel. Monkey mind.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's been a big help for me lately.
Good.
Tips.
We're full of tips.
Yes, we are.
All right. So the next one. So this is I'll give a little shout out to the Kali Institute. So we have a blog, but it's actually really helpful during this, right? So power up, how to stay sane, stay resilient, and stay effective during crisis. So your power up routine can be done anywhere and has 3 simple parts. So the first one is 3-2-1 centering. So the 3 is name 3 things that you see right now in your house. So it can be like, I see Anna's beautiful face. I see Amy's pop of lipstick. And I see my computer, right? And so that's that. So 3 things, and then 2 things that I hear. So I hear laughing, and then I hear myself talking. and then one thing that I'm touching. So I feel my desk right now, right? And so what that does is that when we are anxious and we are kind of on that hamster wheel, it breaks, it gets you back into the present, and it breaks that kind of cycle that's happening in your head. And so that's why we do that. And then the second thing on the power up is micro gratitude practice. And so with gratitude, whether it's like you're being grateful about big things or small things, we practice gratitude, and it is a practice because we have a negative bias, right? I think we talked about this in another episode.
Yeah, we did.
Negativity bias where you negative things stick to you like Velcro and positive things fall off like Teflon. And so we need to train our brain. And so micro gratitude. So the next step is to notice. So write down 3 to 5 things, small things in which you are grateful for. So right now, I am grateful for talking to you all during this podcast and seeing your faces, Amy and Anna. I am grateful that I had coffee today. And I would say I am grateful for Spindrift. I don't know if you've had this sparkling water, but it is delicious.
Real juice.
So, real juice in that. That's so good. So
y'all had a really good trip to Target.
Oh, it was a
No, you can also get it at Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I need to get some of that.
Right.
It's good.
So
And
so it's juice and sparkling water?
only 17 calories though. Just saying.
It's like a hint of juice.
But it is so good. The orange mango, holy.
It's just like a natural flavoring.
Yes.
Oh, yum.
There was a really good episode on how you built this. With the owner or the founder of Spindrift.
Oh.
Really good. And he was talking about natural essence and juice and why he went that route. So I think that's interesting.
Yeah.
So,
You know what is super, super good in seltzer water?
what?
Grapefruit essential oil.
Ooh.
So good. So fresh.
Can you drink that shit? That's okay.
Yeah, definitely. Make sure you get the kind that's for consumption.
Yes.
But
so you have to get the good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so fresh. Like 3 drops of that.
It's a good tip.
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
Yeah, pamplemousse.
DIY pamplemousse. I actually prefer it.
It took a second, Ada. That's good.
Crink, crink, crink. It's slow moving. I prefer the oil to pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse? Pamplemousse.
Oh.
No,
pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse? Pamplemousse?
Oh boy. Okay.
Because the oil is more grapefruity.
Okay.
And the
stronger.
And the pamplemousse.
Pamplemousse? You said pamplemousse, Amy?
Pamplemousse?
Oh gosh.
Okay.
All right.
So the third step is stress reducing inverted movement. So that's take 5 to 10 minutes of just stretching. So it's not like getting your heart rate. It's just like getting in your body. So the more grounded that we are, the better that we can handle all the anxiety or the emotions that are coming up. And so if you can take 15 minutes of your day, right? Or 10 minutes of your day. So we do 3, 2, 1 centering. And then we do the micro gratitude practice, write down 3 to 5 things, and then reducing stress. And so that you can connect into your body, to your intuition, so that you know, and that you can be here in the present moment. So this can help when we feel kind of crazy. We can do those things. If you want to know more about what the science behind that or the research behind it, you can check out the Kali Institute and go to blog. And the article is called Power Up, How to Stay Sane, Stay Resilient, and Stay Effective During Crisis. So that's that.
Wait, inverted movement?
Yes.
Like so upside down movement?
No, so like not movement, but just like moves, like gentle, I guess. Right?
Okay.
So the final step is both allowing the mind to reconnect to its best functioning. So it's an opportunity to make sure that our mind is well connected to our body and intuition. This is a time for simple or gentle alignment of our whole selves. So it's not like I'm going for a run. It's not like I'm getting on the Peloton. It's just that I'm just like stretching and moving the insides to kind of get me in.
Wiggle.
Wiggle, baby.
Get those wiggles out.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle,
The
wiggle.
insides.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, good. Here we are.
Here we are.
Go ahead.
The power up thing makes me think about something I heard Rachel Hollis say when I got to hear her speak one time. She has this really great thing where she has like a power song.
Mm.
And it's like you have to save these power songs for your power up time. Just for like pump up, power up. Like it's like in an emergency, this is my go-to power song. So
like any song by Saweetie.
That's right.
That's like our unofficial theme song.
That's right. Saweetie.
It's so dirty.
It is dirty, but it's a really good song.
Yeah.
That's
but
right.
yeah, so like whatever it is. And she said, I thought this was interesting. She said that you just have to make sure you don't listen to it when you're not in your power up mode.
Okay. That might be hard.
Like you just keep it for that. I know.
It's sacred.
Yeah. That's a good tip. That's a good tip.
I thought it was a good tip.
Okay.
We're just all about the tips.
Tip. Well, this whole episode is tip heavy.
It's good.
Just a tip.
Needs them.
Just
Yeah.
So Anna, I'm excited to hear you talk about your story, but I'm going to talk about this.
Oh yeah.
Get there, right? So that we can set it up, and then you give a great example. Right?
You go. You are running with this one.
Right.
I know. You got this.
You got it.
We also remember, we talked about this, but that we're in the middle of a worldwide trauma. So you were talking about that, Anna, about last time when you were talking to Crystal in therapy, like this was what was happening.
Yeah.
So oftentimes when we are under stress, we revert back to old habits and familiar coping skills because that's just what we do. So our brains are kind of wired that way. So I have reduced my caffeine. I gave this example before. I reduced my caffeine before, and now I'm back to drinking caffeine.
I love that noise.
Oh, God. Oh boy. Okay, and some people are sure. I got a G chat yesterday, and my friend was like, "So how you doing on the sugar?" And I was like, "I'm not doing well on the sugar. That's just where it is." Okay, so trauma. If we think about this, so trauma. This is happening to all of us in one form or another, and so trauma is just a dysregulation of the nervous system. And what the hell does that mean? So all it means is that is there too much charge in my body? Or is there too little charge or energy in my body? So I feel like real anxious or like rageful. We got that corona rage happening.
Yes.
Like I'm all jacked up. Or do I need a little boost? Do I need that power up? Do I feel like I can't get out of bed? I'm unmotivated. I'm kind of checked out. I've watched 7 episodes of The Tiger King in a row.
You and the rest of the world.
Yeah, I know. I haven't watched that many in a row. I'm just giving an example because Tiger King is everywhere. Popping. Yeah. So some
Real
ideas.
quick aside.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Do we think Carol did it?
I'm not there yet.
Oh,
wait, yeah. Don't say that. Spoiler alert. Yeah.
I didn't say anything, did I?
We don't know.
I don't even know what you're saying, but you shouldn't have asked that.
Know. I
don't even know what it is.
Okay. So you just disregard that, and we'll talk about it. And
we can't even edit that out right
now. Yeah, exactly. We're not even
live. Edit it. We're live.
We're live. This is
sorry. Good thing we are just gonna skip over that.
Okay.
Moving on. All right.
Moving on.
Good.
No spoilers here.
All right. So some ideas for charging up your system. So if we inhale, that gets your system like going, right? So eating. So if you are like real low energy and eating, this is normalized eating, not my obsessive chocolate eating. So if you need to rest, because you could need to rest, sex, feeling emotions, stimulation. So I might need to have a conversation, or I might need to have some lemongrass in my diffuser, Amy, and sell in this inspiration. So that helps, right? So discharging of energy, so you can focus on exhaling. And that helps a ton, right? So
Anna, don't exhale too hard because your mic picks it up.
Wendy, it sounds like I'm talking to you when I'm going for a run. That's what it sounded like. PTSD trauma. Can you turn your phone on mute? Thank you. Okay. So, right. All right. So then working, because that will discharge some of your energy. When I'm frantically spraying Pine Sol all over my house to clean it, I'm discharging energy. You can create things. You can express your emotions, activity, yelling, running. You can give, like you were talking about, Anna, when you have anxiety and you're calling other people to give, that helps discharge that. Things that do both. So meditation, yoga, conversations, exercise, emotion, exercise, massage, walking, and then being in nature. So it's just whatever the things that you need. So the simple way to like, what is happening with me right now? Do I need to discharge energy or do I need to take in energy? Like discharge or power up, and then do something that helps with that very simply. Because I think our brains get overloaded. Like, I should be doing all these things. How do I do this? And it's very simply, what do I need right now? So there we go. Anna.
Yeah.
Great story you're about to tell.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So I discharged energy very effectively based on a tip I learned on our podcast by Erin Linehan, therapist extraordinaire at theCollyInstitute.com. Book your sessions now.
There you go. Book your sessions now. We're doing teletherapy, people.
Yeah, everybody.
Everybody.
Yeah. So, so crazy experience happened Sunday. We have been in the house so much. We've been doing our quarantine part and staying in the city as much as possible. And we just got super stir crazy, decided to go just out to like Golden, which is just a little bit of ways from Denver. And when we were on the way to this hike, we came upon a car that had just flipped over, and
the picture was crazy.
So crazy. Yeah. And the wheel was still spinning when we came upon it. And we were just like, oh shit, what happened? And just kind of looking to see what was going on. And then all of a sudden, one of the ladies, there were like 2 people there already, 2 or 3 already. And one of the ladies
from a different car?
From the opposite direction. It's just this 2-lane little side Route 40, and they were like calling for people to come over, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my chance. Like, I need to go help. And all those I Survives, all those My Favorite Murders that I've listened to, this is the training I've been doing for this moment right here, right now. Put me in, coach. This is it. I'm here to help. I show up? This is the time to show up. This is the time to pull the body out of the car. These are the things I'm thinking.
Well, that's what you did, right?
I didn't pull body out.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay.
You did?
No, I thought I thought you had to pull it. Okay, go ahead.
No, I didn't have to pull her body out. So I go running, trotting up there, check it out, see what the situation is, and they're like, we can't get the door open.
Who's saying that?
One of the people there.
Oh, okay. Like
one of the
bystanders. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're like, we can't get the door open. We got to get her seatbelt off. And then they're like, how many people are in the car? It was just like just so fast, Meanwhile, someone's calling 911. And I realized that nobody had checked to see, like, all the windows were still busted out from the accident, the flip. And
were you able to talk to the person in the car?
Yeah, totally. So we were able to see that there was no one else in the car. She was still conscious, which was great. Wow. And then I realized that nobody had tried unlocking the door and just opening it. So I did that. And then one of the bystanders cut off her seatbelt, and then they started talking about, like, we need to get her out of the car. And I'm like, unless the car's going to blow up, I don't think we should move her.
Yes, that's right.
Because she could become paralyzed by being moved, And so anyway, there was like a towel right by her, and
was she like freaking out?
She was like, she couldn't move. Like, the car was like crushed on her, and she was like slumped over, just her back to the driver's side door. And that's kind of where I was kind of able to wiggle in. And the coronavirus, everybody, that wasn't even like something that we were thinking about. It was like, we got to just help her and do whatever we need to do. And anyway, so it was like super high adrenaline. Like, it was just like one thing after another. And then somehow I ended up being the one holding like the compress to her head while we're, underneath.